Right folks, this is a quick overview of the system. I've had some questions from a couple of guys I know on UR who are asking about how this is set up without a weir and how it actually works. So I'll quick run through that and show you how it powers up, powers down, and quick look at the rest of the system. So you'll note that there is no weir either corner or centre. However, there are two drains, and you can see the white pipes below that sit either side of the centre structure there, in 92 mil I think it is, the pipe is. So there's one there and there's the other one there, and that's how the water is drained out of the system. It's returned to the tank via a single return, which should show you down there, which feeds in via flexi pipe up and over the edge. Okay, hopefully you don't get too bored with this. So that's how it gets to and from the tank. And again, you can see the drains there towards the back. Looking underneath, a couple of small isolation valves and the flexi pipe that feeds out into the fish room. The box there is just to be able to stand and have a higher view above the tank and not trip over the pipes. Set up for as many as 3 gyres, but I'm only running 2 at the moment, one either side. Water's a little bit cloudy because I've stirred stuff up, but that's all I need in the tank right now. So I've gone out into the fish room. It basically works on a principle that I have an expansion tank out here, okay, and so what you're looking at here is on the right hand side, the 2 larger diameter pipes are the connection to those drains we've just looked at, and it's that defines the level in the tank. Okay, the left hand side of the large ones is just an emergency overflow drain coming underneath some coral I bought the other day. This one, the left front there, is just set to that level so that when it powers down, the whole water doesn't empty into the 2 black vats we've got down here. And this one here, the one right in front, is just part of the balancing for this expansion tank. I've also got the heaters in here, and it's all controlled by the apex. Okay. So what I'll do in a minute is, the best way to explain this is to actually power down the return pump, and it'll explain, or hopefully will become obvious, how it's all working. Rest of the system, dosing A and K, iodine and Elimifos through a Kamoa doser, some DD UV, a couple of tubes there, 39 watt tubes. This container here is there for continuous water change, so that's mixed normally with salted water, and using the Apex DOS. Little batfish there. Using the Apex DOS allows me to control the water change. There it is. In the front here, a modified skims reactor with the eductor out of a TMC bio pellet machine. That's allowed me to put quite a lot of pellets in there, and it just about tumbles over okay. This one here, the Tropic Marin, is a fairly new addition. I'll fill it up with media when I get some from my local fish shop. I don't believe these are released in this country as yet. I could be very wrong. I got this off a chap on UR that couldn't get it in his cabinet, so instead of getting another skims reactor, I thought I'd give this a go, just to help to keep the nitrates under control on a 3,000 litre or thereabouts system. In the sump, a couple of ATI 250IS skimmers. The one with a skirt on is being injected with ozone, so that's just carbon in there to stop the fumes. And there's a single pump split off to feed both of the reactors, and returned into the sump somewhere before the skimmers in the flow of things. Blue Eco return pump, So we can see there, that's the return pipe to under the tank that you saw before. There's the Blue Eco controller, All Matters Apex, and a Sharan Jetstream 1, which is doing the job admirably. As and when it can't keep up, I might even upgrade to the next size up, the Jetstream 2. Okay, Apex DOS, this is what allows me to pump a litre a time or thereabouts of water to waste into the sink over there, and then a litre in from the container there. Underneath in the fireplace, you can see in the left hand corner there's a peri pump. That's how I top up my RO. That's just on a timer. Very simple, very simple indeed. The idea being that the DOS removes equal amounts and the rest is evaporation, so I top it up with that. Right, so without further ado, we'll turn off the power to the return pump and explain what's going on with the levels in the tank. It's much easier to demonstrate than try and explain, which is why I'm not putting it in words, and unfortunately you're listening to my dulcet tones. Right, so I'm going to turn off the Blue Eco, and you'll hear the world starting to gargle. What will happen in practice is the water level will drop in the tank a couple of inches. Okay, that's starting to drain now. So while that's draining down, I better go and resolve the slight design flaw in the sump without... If I haven't got a lot in the skimmer cup, then it tends to go floating off, which is less than desirable. So what's happening now, the water level is also dropping in the expansion tank. We'll hear it gargle in a minute, and the level is coming up in the sump section. Call that one the fuge. It's coming up in the sump section of there, and it will all stop. So here we go. You can see the levels now drop down, and there's very little water coming out the top of the pipes, whereas previously you saw there was quite a lot. This will come to a natural level based on the top of that pipe, and like I say, the whole reason for leaving it at that height was to not have too much water flowing down into here. Yeah, that's about that. There was something else I can't remember. Anyway, so that will find its own level. Sorry, what I was going to say, if it's any higher than that length of pipe, it'll gargle when it's full, and we don't want that, it just siphons down. So pump is now off. Water level has risen in both sides. I don't know how well this is going to come out in the picture, but that's all you're going to get, I'm afraid. And in the tank, you see the levels dropped a couple of inches. Okay, so that's sort of steady state with the return pump off. And what's happening now is the level in the tank is purely defined by the level of these two pipes here, and they're on a threaded bulkhead connector, so they can go up and down. Okay, so imagine the two ends are at the same length of pipe. You've now got it at a steady height. So if I fire up the return pump again, you'll see how we get back to the set. I hope that is fairly self-explanatory. Come back to me if you've got any other questions. So I'm going to turn back on the Blue Eco. At the moment the skimmers and reactors are being held off by the apex because the level's risen. You should see water now as the return pump times down and then starts firing in. Okay, because we're pumping water in, the level will now start to rise. You can see it rising in the tank already. And as the tank level rises, the water starts to force through the two pipes. So this is how we're setting the level in the system. So there are three things that are a factor. The amount of water you're pushing through the pipe, in other words, raising the pipe at one side, the balancing of this pipe on the end here, okay, and the actual height that you set, the two big pipes there. So as you can see, as I said earlier, reactors are being held off, skimmers are being held off at the moment, and they'll kick in after 10 minutes. The sharp hide, you see the heaters are in there, so they're being held off by the apex as well. You can see the level rising, and like I say, siphoning, when it gets up to full height, it won't do that. This will take a couple of minutes. I just want to show you when it gets close. I'll end the video because you're probably bored enough already. So the greater the differential between the level in the tank and the top of these two white pipes, the more water is getting forced through, and the greater the flow. Not rocket science, really. And some coral thinks it's getting fed, so something's getting flushed through as it's just starting to put in an appearance. So the tank now is back at its normal height. Doesn't take long. It takes a bit longer for the water to catch up in the other side, really. So now you get an idea the flow's increased on the two bulkheads. The one at the back will catch up. That's just for some reason that is always a bit slower than the other one when you first start it up. So that will gradually increase, and we'll get to a position where it is exactly as you saw it at the start of the video when I first showed it to you. I'm not going to bore you with waiting for that because this video rambles on long enough, so I'll end it there. Thanks for looking, and for those that asked, I hope it explains how it works, and of course if you've got any questions, come back to me. Thanks very much, bye.